Alright, in this lesson we will be solving inequalities. Equations are mathematical sentence where the left side is equal. Left side of the equal sign has the same value as the right side. With inequalities, the left side is either less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, or not equal to the right side. And we'll use all the different, five different inequalities to express that imbalance between the two sides of an equation. The steps to solving an inequality are the exact same steps for solving an equation with one additional rule. That rule is anytime that you multiply or divide both sides by a negative number, you must change the direction of the inequality. So that's the only additional rule that needs to be remembered for solving inequalities. Now the graphs of inequalities require either an open or a closed circle at the value in your inequality and an arrow pointing either to the left or to the right. If you have an open circle is used for less than symbols or greater than symbols because we're not including the number. And we use the closed circle for less than or equal to or greater than or equal to because we are including those numbers. When the variables on the left side, an arrow to the left is used for less than or equal to, and arrows to the right are used for greater than or equal to. And again, we always want to write our variable on the left side of the inequality symbol. Alright, so in this first equation, following the same steps as for this inequality, we want to follow the same steps for an equation. And we're going to combine the like terms. That's how we got the 2b. And then we're going to add 2 to both sides. It gives us 2b is greater than 0. Divide both sides by 2. B is greater than 0. And to graph that, we should have an open circle at 0. And the arrow is pointing to the right, so our arrow should also be pointing to the right. In Go Formative, and also on the test, you're going to indicate what kind of circle should be graphed. So we would indicate open, and then where's the arrow pointing? The arrow is pointing to the right. Next example, to solve this inequality, we want to first combine the like terms. It gives us negative 7x on the right side. And then when we divide both sides by negative 7, we have to change the direction of the inequality. It gives us negative 2 is greater than or equal to x, but if we just flip around that entire inequality so that the point is still facing the x, we'll have x is less than or equal to negative 2. To graph that, we should have a closed circle in negative 2, and the arrow in our inequality is pointing to the left, so our arrow should be pointing the same direction. Again, the circle is closed and the arrow is pointing to the left. Next example, we want to start by distributing the negative 7 to the parentheses. Then we want to combine the like terms on the right side of the inequality. Then we get the variables on the same side by adding 35n to both sides. Next, we want to add 27 to both sides. And then lastly, we want to divide both sides by 30 to isolate our variable. And it's going to be greater than or equal to negative 1. When we graph that, we should have a closed circle at negative 1, and our arrow is pointing to the right. Alright. In this example, first thing we're going to do is distribute both parentheses, and then we're going to combine the like terms. Once we combine the like terms, we're going to subtract 6p from both sides to get our variable on the same side. That will give us 25 is greater than 0, and that is a true sentence, so our solution is all real numbers, since 25 actually is greater than 0. Alright, so in the answer column on Go Formative, if you got all real numbers for your solution, you would just indicate closed for circle, and then arrows going in both directions. All right, last example. Again, start by distributing. Once you distribute, combine the like terms, and then get your variable on the same side by subtracting 5n from both sides. Now that gives us a sentence that is not true. 10 is not less than 10. So since that sentence is not true, we have no solution. All right, so the circle would be open, and there is no arrow since there's no solution.